Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hi, this is Kelly.
And this is Jenna.
And you're listening to ODFM.
This episode is 1 decade from murder.
Is it over a whole decade, or I guess I'll find out. God damn it.
I know. All right, I do have to start with a trigger warning for this episode. Shit. There is some pretty intense child abuse in this episode that is pretty vital to the story. I feel like if I glossed over it or minimized it, it wouldn't be doing justice to the story.
Okay.
So I'm going to be as mindful as possible. If that's a big trigger for you, I suggest you just don't listen to this episode altogether.
Yes.
Otherwise, before certain parts, I will just say, hey, you might want to fast forward a minute or two.
Also, here's my mindfulness for it. Fuck those abusers. Okay.
Oh, seriously.
I'm ready. I am ready.
This one.
And especially bad. Fuck him. Fuck them. Fuck her. Fuck all of it.
Okay. Get them all. So this story takes place in Mark Center, Ohio. That's actually the name of the town is Mark Center.
Does Mark stand in the center?
Apparently. I don't know. It's very weird.
Mark, get back in the center.
It's in another weird one, Defiance County. Oh. I was like, what a weird name for a county. Defiance County.
Defiance, yeah.
But Mark Center is like, when I say it's a small town, it's about 50, 60 people. It's small.
Oh, that's rough.
There's like one main road that goes through the town and like a railroad crossing that goes in. And like, that's it.
That's for sure your cousin if you're dating him. So.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So late in the afternoon of November 3rd, 2003, 911 operator received a call from a hysterical child saying,
"Oh no,
I need help right away." And she says, "What happened, honey? Calm down." And the little voice says, "He's shot." And she says, "Who got shot?" And he said, "My dad." And she said, "Your dad got shot? Where did he get shot at?" And he says, "In the head."
Just poor baby.
I know.
Okay.
So Detective Cliff Vandemark of the Defiance County Sheriff's Office was the first to arrive on the scene. He knew this house and the residents because, like I said, small.
Yeah, everybody knows everybody. Okay.
And 10-year-old Corey Brenninger opened the door. And he knew Corey. He knew Corey from the time he was very little. He knew Corey's dad. And Corey took the officer's hand and leads him to a bedroom where his father, Robert, had been shot in the head and was beyond help. The officer immediately starts trying to comfort the boy who was crying and kept saying, "Save my dad. He's my best friend."
My heart. Okay.
I know. 34-year-old Robert Brenninger was a kind, gentle, hardworking family man. He lived in this small ranch house with his wife, Judith, and her daughter from a previous marriage, and then his son, Corey, from his previous marriage. So Judith was his second wife.
It's like a Brady Bunch situation.
But on a much smaller scale.
Yeah. Half
way
the
fewer
amount,
kids.
A quarter of the amount of the kids.
Exactly. While they were waiting for the rest of, when backup came, they were waiting for everybody else to show up. Corey sat in the detective's lap and told him between sobs that his father had been teaching him about hunting and showing him how to use a shotgun. And Corey said that he had the gun in his hand and his finger on the trigger. And he was handing the gun to his father, and his father grabbed the muzzle and kind of pulled it towards him, and the gun went off.
Oh, this is why it shouldn't be loaded if you're just learning.
Right. It was an accident, and that Corey said he immediately dropped the gun and called 911.
Oh, good boy. Okay, did the right thing.
Crime scene investigators get there. The scene was a bit puzzling to the investigators. When they went into the room, Robert was lying on his back in a twin-size bed. He was wearing earplugs.
So this isn't his own room?
I guess not. So Robert worked, I'll get to it, but he worked third shift. And this was mid-afternoon.
So he had his own.
So he was probably, right. And he was wearing earplugs, which is a little weird if he's in the middle of doing a gun lesson.
Oh, abso-freaking-lutely.
There was magazines and a book about hunting and one of those bright orange knit beanie hats next to him on the bed. So
you don't expect to be hunted in your own home, but okay.
Right, but he was teaching Corey about hunting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
and that was all on the bed. Still weird that he had earplugs.
Yeah, earplugs is really odd.
The shotgun was on the floor, like Corey said. However, it was to the right of the bed, but Robert was shot on the left side of his head.
Oh, okay. So it had to have even gotten thrown or set somewhere weird or fell. Okay.
Corey's stepmom, Judith, arrived at the house a short time later. She and her daughter had not been home. They had gone to visit her mother, who also lived somewhere nearby.
Uh-oh.
Of course, she's shocked and horrified to hear what happened and that her husband is dead. She immediately runs to Corey to comfort him, and she asks, can I take him away from the scene?
Yeah. Yeah. Can I get him out of here?
Yes. Can I get him out of here? The death was classified as an accidental shooting, and investigators left, and Judith and her daughter and Corey returned that night and slept in the house.
Oh, I mean, yeah, where do you go? That's not
I don't
like
know where you go,
rich, but
I mean,
I think I'd hope to go to a
her
hotel
mother's
or
house
something.
or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. The next day, Detective Vandermark came to the house to check on Corey. Judith wouldn't let him talk to Corey.
Oh, that's strange.
Right.
Well,
and the officer said it really bothered him that they went back to the house that night.
So he felt something was off with that.
And people noticed that over the next few months, Corey really started to withdraw into himself.
Oh, I'm sure.
I
But
mean,
losing a parent alone could cause that and then having done it yourself, possibly.
a couple other things that people found strange was Judith collected Robert's life insurance and bought new furniture and a new car right away.
Oh, Judith, what did you do?
Like, I understand if she wants to replace that bed, maybe paint that room.
That would
maybe,
make sense.
But
kind of treating yourself after a major event.
it was a very small community, like I said. Judith's neighbors were not fond of her. Several mentioned that they were kind of afraid of her.
Ooh, red flag.
Right? She was very private. The shades were always kept drawn. Always.
Oh my God, this is reminding me of my neighbor.
Not the one from Whitewater.
Yeah, that one.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, the one from our very first episode? Mm-hmm. Oh,
Very private. Yeah, like that.
If someone came to the door, she rarely answered, and she would instruct Corey and her daughter to be quiet so the person would leave.
Okay, I've done that.
I know. We all have, but
I don't want to talk to the Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm sorry. Today is not my day.
Yeah, I know. It's not really that weird on its own, but...
No, but yeah.
but like mixed with the rest of the facts. It's,
okay, yeah, it gets weirder. Okay.
She was said to be very suspicious, basically, of everyone. There were rumors that she once slashed her neighbor's tires.
Yikes. Jesus.
And there was a rumor that she fed rat poison to another neighbor's dog because it barked too much.
Wow. She's fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
She's one of those fun neighbors, right?
Oh, God.
8 years after Robert's death, Corey is now a senior in high school. He was given an assignment in English to write an essay about his biggest regret.
Oh, shit. I see what's happening.
Right. And the teacher was adamant that she would be the only one to read it.
Okay, good.
Okay. And Corey decided that he was going to write about the day his father died.
I'm getting chills. That's...
Right? See, now I just did too.
Oh.
In the essay, he wrote, and I'm quoting from the essay. Ooh, see, I have chills. Yes, I did kill him, but not the way everybody thinks. Please forgive me. I'm really not a bad person. It was all Judith.
Oh, damn. Whoa.
Right?
Oh my God. I was like getting all like teary for him, but then wow. Judith, he names, wow. Okay.
A few days after he turned in the essay, Corey was called down to the principal's office.
Yeah.
Right?
We
She's
can't
sitting
keep
at
this to
home reading
ourselves.
these papers and went, oh shit.
I can't keep this to myself.
Right.
Not this one.
Detective Cliff Vandermark, the one who was the first on the scene, who knew him and his dad, was waiting to speak to him. And Corey asked the detective if he would be going to jail.
Oh.
And was shocked to find out that the officer was not there to arrest him. The detective told Corey that none of what happened was his fault.
Good.
But he needed Corey's help because the police needed to get enough evidence to arrest Judith for murder.
Oh my God. This poor kid. Oh, he's kept this to himself
This
all
whole
this time. Oh, that poor baby. No wonder he was so
And just wait till you see
off.
this. He was such a cute little blonde-haired, big blue-eyed little boy. This episode's going to break your heart, but it's also just going to be like, holy F. So Corey's birth mom wasn't in his life. Robert and his first wife divorced when Corey was still a baby. So Corey was first raised by his father and his grandparents. I don't know if it was her parents or his parents.
Okay.
I never got that information, but a set of grandparents, right? Corey and his father were extremely close. There's pictures of them where they went and he taught Corey how to fish. And his father was into cars and had a Mustang. So he would let Corey help work on the Mustang and help him polish it and stuff like that. They bonded over this.
Oh my gosh.
When Corey was about 4 or 5 years old, Robert took him to a McDonald's to have lunch and meet his girlfriend, Judith Hawkey.
Oh, jeez.
She was blonde, and so Corey referred to her as the lady with yellow hair.
Oh, cute. Yeah.
Right? Judith was very kind and attentive to Corey.
Oh God,
and they seemed to hit it off.
Cinderella-ish, you know?
Right?
It
is, right? So a few days later, he was cool with his dad saying, hey, instead of the regular babysitter watching you, I'm going to bring you to Judith's house. She's got a kid your age.
Yeah.
You're going to stay there for the day while I go to work. And he was like, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
of course. I get to play with someone, sure.
Right. Sounds good. Robert drops him off, and Judith said, you should go upstairs to my daughter's room. I never got the daughter's name, so I can't say sister's daughter. She said, go upstairs and you can play in her room, but stay out of the closets. I don't know what the big deal about the closet was. That's where she kept the hard drugs. I don't know. Whatever.
The toys, the sex toys. Yeah.
The sex toys, right. According to Corey, they went upstairs and the girl tricked him into going into the closet.
Oh, shit.
And then yelled for her mother.
This little manipulative brat.
Right? And then Judith came upstairs and was irate. She was a completely different person. According to Corey, he only knew nice people up until now.
Oh.
He'd only been, he's little, right?
Been exposed to that kind of.
So you might want to fast forward a second, but Judith was irate. She grabbed Corey by the arm and started hitting him with a belt.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Not your child, first of all,
right?
but yeah.
For the rest of the day, he wasn't allowed to play or eat.
Oh.
He had to sit and wait for his father.
Oh, no. Damn, dude. I don't want to go back to her house, please.
Right. Okay. So just before Robert arrived, Judith grabbed Corey and said, you have to tell your father that you had a good time.
Whoa. Okay.
And you're not allowed to tell him what happened here today. And Corey was so scared and confused because this was a whole different thing he'd never experienced before. And she was standing right there, like giving him the eye.
It's adults and you're supposed to do what they say when you're a kid.
Corey just did what he was told and said, yep, I had fun. I didn't say anything to his dad.
Oh, no.
And he had no idea what this was going to turn into.
Oh, God. Yeah, if only he could have spoken up later or felt
right
brave
then
enough.
And just been like, or gotten into the car and
later,
went, Dad,
do not make me go back there.
She's a nutball, right?
No.
He didn't say anything. And not long after, Robert and Judith got married.
Oh, God, no. So it's totally Cinderella. He had no idea this woman was evil.
Exactly. So he had a red flag, but he was too little to know.
No.
You know.
His dad didn't catch on.
And he mentioned, and this is completely fair, and I know too well about this. A lot of times when when their punishment is abusive, if that's all you know, you don't realize this isn't normal.
Well, oh, absolutely.
Right? So, and that's hard for some people to understand, but if that's what your life has been from day one.
Yeah. You just don't know any better.
This is just what it is, right? You just assume, and he says this in one of the shows I watched, that he just assumed this is how kids get punished because that's all he ever knew.
Ugh.
And that I can tell you, that is abso-freaking-lutely true. You are way older when all of a sudden it dawns on you, wait a minute, this isn't normal.
Yeah. Your parents didn't do this? Oh.
Right. Robert and Judith get married. Robert purchases a house where they can all live comfortably, the four of them. But that meant Robert had to take a job at a steel mill, and he worked third shift as well as lots of overtime to help pay for the house and support all of them. Okay. So he was working nights and sometimes days.
Oh, God. Working his tail off. Yeah.
Right. So he's not really home. When he is home, he's tired, or he's at home and he's sleeping, and he can't be disturbed because this is when he's sleeping is during the day, right? And Judith stayed home and watched both kids. So now Judith is his only parent. Basically.
Oh, God. Yeah. Right? I guess no one. And it was his best friend, like you said. He didn't get any time now.
Corey rarely saw his father after that because of how this is. And when he did, Judith made sure that they never had time alone together.
Oh, no.
She was always there or within earshot or in the room.
It. Oh, no.
So there was never any opportunity for Corey to even say anything to his father.
Oh, no.
If it had occurred to him to do that, right?
Yeah.
And remember, he's like 5.
Yeah, he's just so teeny. He doesn't know.
Exactly. Judith was always very kind and attentive to Corey in front of Robert. Mm-hmm. It only changed as soon as Robert was gone. She was a different person. Her own daughter could do whatever she wanted. Corey had a different set of rules. He wasn't supposed to make any noise. He wasn't supposed to be loud. He wasn't supposed to talk. He had chores to do.
So he wasn't supposed to be a child?
No. Impossible parameters for a 5-year-old.
Yeah, just absolutely.
Impossible. And she hit him daily with her hands or whatever was within reach. Daily.
No.
Here's a trigger warning for everybody if you want to fast forward a minute or two, but this is pretty integral to the story. Sometimes Judith would choke Corey.
Oh.
She would withhold food from him. When the beatings got to the point where he had a lot of bruising and swelling, she would force him to take ice baths to bring it down.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so his dad might not notice.
Right. Sometimes she even held his face under the water until he passed out.
Jesus Christ.
And then
Torture.
She would hit him. She would hit him to revive him.
Fuck.
It was
brutal.
It was bad. It was really bad.
Brutal. Damn.
This is, like I said, this is when he's still very, very small.
Yeah.
Corey was absolutely terrified of Judith. Just terrified.
Yeah.
And this is who he spends most of his right.
Jesus.
This is who he spends most of his time with, right?
Yeah. Oh.
She made him promise not to breathe a word of what was going on to his dad. And even if he wanted to, like I said, she made sure there was never an opportunity.
Yeah, she wouldn't have had time. Oh, God.
Robert usually was only off for periods of time on the weekends, and that's when Corey would stay with his grandparents.
Oh, okay. This poor baby.
Outwardly, Judith made sure that everyone saw that she was a loving mother and stepmother, right?
Yeah.
She even told people that she wanted to adopt Corey. She took videos. She's holding the camera, so she's not on the video. I've seen many of these videos showing Corey, asking him, am I a good mommy or a bad mommy? And he would say, you're a good mommy. Well, do you want me to be your mommy? Yes, I want you to be your mommy. I mean, he's afraid of her. He's going to say whatever.
Of course.
And man, you could see this kid was not happy. Of course you're a good man. No, he looked scared.
Oh, God, this poor baby. Okay.
But then she had these videos that she could show Robert.
Yeah,
see, he loves me. He wants me to adopt him.
Okay, this is breaking my heart. This poor kid.
I don't know if he was at his grandparents' house for the weekend, how did they never change his clothes or bathe him? I don't know, but they weren't aware. He did, however, tell his grandparents that he wanted to live with them permanently.
Oh, yeah.
And not live with Judith and his dad.
Oh, my God.
But that got back to Judith.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Yeah, it's going to get worse now.
So when she heard that, here's another little trigger warning, but it's important. She told Corey, you need to tell your dad that your grandfather hit you with a belt.
Oh, no. She's going to ruin their relationship now.
Robert was so appalled that he said, you never have to go there again, Corey. He hired an attorney and made sure that they had no more contact with Corey. So he lost his grandparents.
Rights. Oh, God. She's taking away every piece of good
Which makes me think that possibly it was his ex-wife's parents.
That's what's kind of making me think, too, because he might not cut off his own parents.
Exactly. So many people in Corey's life failed him.
Yeah.
Teachers did notice that Corey was always wearing long sleeves or even turtlenecks.
My God.
Regardless of the weather. He never wore t-shirts or shorts, even in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
And when he was asked about it, Corey would make an excuse, like, this is my favorite shirt or whatever.
Okay.
And no one ever pushed the issue.
Yeah, they don't want to embarrass him.
Right. If anyone did start to notice Corey's bruises, Judith would stop hitting him long enough for them to heal. And again, fast forward a minute if you have to. She didn't stop abusing him. She would just focus the abuse on his penis.
God.
She would burn or twist his penis, or she would threaten to cut it off.
This poor little baby. God damn.
Okay, so I know that's incredibly difficult to hear. It was really hard for me to hear and watch this stuff.
Yeah.
But this really goes into his mental state.
Well, yeah, I could see this.
Right?
Yeah.
Kelly's teary-eyed. I'm so sorry.
Can't do that.
Next, Judith started working towards turning Robert against Corey.
Oh, fuck this bitch.
I know.
Oh.
She told Robert that Corey was always being difficult and acting out.
No. Yeah.
She forced Corey to act out when Robert was home. She would instruct him, she would be in the room, to run around, break things, yell and scream.
Oh my God. And if he didn't, he would face consequences.
And he knew that. He did whatever she said to avoid her wrath, right? When Robert was at work, she would force Corey to tear up his bedroom and then videotape him crying. And Judith would be saying, why did you do this? And he'd say, I don't know. And then she'd say, you have to clean this up. So she could show Robert later what he did. And I'm sorry, it's pretty obvious in this video that something's not right.
Really?
I feel like.
Yeah.
Right? He wasn't acting. It just, so he's picking things up and he's like half-heartedly kind of like just picking things up and throwing them down. And he's just crying.
Oh.
And he's crying and he's holding his hands up to his head and he's hitting himself in the head. This kid is in so much pain.
Yeah. He's trying to.
Right?
Oh.
This is not a kid who just had a temper tantrum and destroyed his room.
No, doesn't know how to. He shouldn't have to deal with this. He
shouldn't have to
shouldn't
deal
know
with this,
how.
So it's just awful. Corey's just trying to survive the situation.
Yeah.
Right?
He said
with whatever
survival
tools
mode,
he has.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be bad to his father.
God,
he didn't want to anger his father. But
it's the last person he has.
Right. But if he did exactly what Judith asked, there would be kind of a short reprieve, right?
Yeah. You take what you can get.
And this is the person that he's spending 99% of his time with, right?
Absolutely. Oh,
eventually, Judith's plan worked. Robert was always angry and frustrated with Corey.
Oh.
One time he was so mad that he got up, he was so angry, and he went to spank Corey. And Judith stepped in and told Robert to calm down. No one's getting hit. I'll handle it. Like, she's the calm one.
Such a...
She's saving him.
An angel. Oh, fuck this
she
bitch.
Is so
just so...
According to Corey, he felt like his dad eventually wanted nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
And Judith would confirm it in his mind by saying things like, wow, he's really starting to hate you.
Oh, this bitch. I can't hate someone more than I'm hating her right now.
I know, this is a hard episode. When Corey was 10, Judith told him that Robert was dying of brain cancer. And only had a few months to live.
What is wrong with this psycho? Jesus Christ.
It was incurable. There was nothing anyone could do.
Okay.
She said, your dad doesn't want you to know. She went on to say that Robert wanted to be sure that he could provide for them after he was gone. And he didn't want a slow, painful death from cancer. So she said, Robert's thinking about, your dad's thinking about maybe faking an accident involving a gun so that he can go out on his own terms. And then the family's going to get life insurance and they'll be okay for years to come.
Taken care of. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, this bitch.
So Judith is like, I have a plan where you can help your dad. You want to help your dad, don't you? Right? This is his dying wish, but this has to be a secret.
Yeah, of course. Yes. She's all about the secrets.
Oh, yeah. So Judith tells Corey, tell your dad you want to learn how to hunt. Right?
Oh, God. Yeah.
And while he's showing you the gun, you're going to shoot and kill him. And then you're going to call 911 and say it was an accident. And then we're going to get the life insurance.
But then wouldn't his dad be in on this? Like,
right.
Oh, no,
so
let's
he
surprise
wants to
him.
have this accident.
Right.
But he doesn't want to involve Corey. But Corey, this is something you can do for your dad.
Yeah. What?
She
This
is
bitch.
She is so evil.
Diabolical.
Yes.
Terrible.
Later that day, Corey asks his dad to teach him how to hunt. Robert takes him out back and shows Corey how to load and hold and aim a shotgun.
Yeah.
Robert was happy to see Corey interested in something that they could bond over.
Right.
And Corey was so thrilled that he was having this time with his dad. He's making his dad happy.
Absolutely.
He actually started to question if this is really what his dad wanted because he seemed to really enjoy this, right?
Yeah.
And he couldn't bring himself to actually point the gun at his dad.
Oh,
and he didn't
God.
say anything.
Totally.
So they were out there for a little while, and then they come back into the house. And Corey could tell instantly that Judith was surprised to see them both walk in. So as soon as Robert walks away, she grabs Corey roughly and threatens him and says, next time I tell you to do something, you better do it.
Oh, motherfucker. Damn.
And he's like, oh my God.
He's so scared.
He's terrified. So several days later, Judith is waiting for him when he gets off the bus, when he comes home from school, right? This is really weird.
Okay.
And she grabs him roughly by the neck and says, today's the day.
No.
Yep. She's like, here's the deal. The gun is in the laundry room, along with some hunting magazines and targets and a hat. Your dad's home sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as her daughter and Judith leave the house, she's like, we're going to leave the house. You're going to wait a few minutes.
Okay.
Then you're going to go and you're going to place all the hunting things on the bed around your dad. And then you're going to shoot him.
Oh, motherfucker.
So
she doesn't even have to be there this time.
Right?
To deal with it. Yeah.
So Corey does as he's told. He lays the stuff out. He walks up to his dad, who's sleeping in bed. He holds up the shotgun and he pulls the trigger. But nothing happens.
Okay.
Right? And so for a second, he's like, oh, God, it's broken. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to do this.
Yeah, thank
Something's
God.
wrong. But then he's like, well, I better try again because she's going to be mad. But then I can say the gun's broken, right? So he didn't think it was going to work.
Oh, sweet boy. Okay.
And he pulled it again, and this time it goes off.
Oh,
and
God,
he wasn't even ready for it, so it even throws him back into the wall. But it fired.
Ooh, that's rough.
And his dad was hit in the head, and he said he heard his dad take his last breath, and he knew. This 10-year-old boy.
Little kid has had to go through lifetimes of torture already.
Seriously. So he calls 911 like Judith instructed. When the officers arrive, they're comforting Corey. They're reminding him that accidents happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody's questioning
Don't blame yourself.
him, right?
Oh, and internally, he's like drained.
But the officers even said, like, it was a small town. They knew this kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody
he just knows.
thought it wasn't an accident. And they were just so busy like, oh my God, this poor kid. This is such an awful thing that happened.
Yeah.
And they just didn't do their jobs. They just didn't.
Because they're hoping that this kid doesn't go through more torture.
Earplugs. The gun is on the wrong side of the bed.
But they don't want to accuse a little kid. They're like, it's not your fault, buddy. Sorry.
Right. Judith arrived and acted appropriately. She was in shock. When the officers were near, she was comforting Corey. Corey said when they walked away, she told him to quit crying and that he better not mess this up.
Oh, this bitch. Dude, what else do you want from this kid? Oh, my God.
Wow. The next day, Judith was calling the insurance company. The insurance payout was $500,000.
Holy shit. But that's like nothing. That's a few years of the way she'll probably spend it.
Right. And like I said, she immediately started spending the money. During this time, because, it's not like he's not messed up enough.
Yeah.
During that time, she was actually nicer to Corey, which helped him a little bit with the overwhelming guilt that he had.
Oh, I'm sure. And grief and,
Yeah. She even used the money to buy his silence by buying him a sports car similar to the one that his dad had had.
Oh, my God. Wait, and that's just when he was older?
No, this is when he still couldn't drive. This is where she's still absolutely sadistic.
Damn.
He loved that car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? He loved that car. He would clean it and polish it often. He couldn't drive. He couldn't take it out yet. And as he said, like, as he was caring for it and polishing it and stuff, he would dream of the day when he got his license and he would take off.
Leave forever.
And just get away from her, right? But then when he turned 16, Judith sells the car.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine someone this devious and mean.
Right? I can't, right?
Oh my God.
And as the life insurance money is starting to dwindle, because it's been a couple years now, so now he's 16, it's been 6 years, she's starting to turn her negative attention back to Corey.
Oh, great. Great.
It's not totally the same because he's bigger and he's older now, but it's still, and he's still terrified of her.
Of course. I mean,
he could be 10 feet taller than her. He's
it
still
wouldn't
terrified
matter.
of her.
You're still.
And she's fucking scary as hell.
Yeah.
So, right?
Yeah, I'd say.
Right.
Damn.
So when he was 18, still in high school, he ran away to a friend's house and they allowed him to stay with them for a while. He still didn't tell anybody what had gone on.
I was hoping he would say something just so that they don't make him go back.
But they could tell that he needed to,
get away. Yeah.
Again, people are like, well, he accidentally killed his father. I know it was an accident.
Right.
Of course, this kid is messed up and he needs some love. And, know.
So they just think he's acting out a little bit.
They just figured he was still acting appropriately for the story that was told.
Oh.
So he's there for, I don't know if it was a couple days or a couple weeks. Judith tracks him down.
No, motherfucker.
And demands that he comes home. And Corey's like, no, I'm not ever coming home. I'm not ever going back. They said I could stay here.
Yes.
Judith tells him, you better not say a word because I have a video of what really happened.
Oh.
I hid a camera in the room. And if you ever say anything, I'm going to show it to the police. And you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life.
This fucking psycho bitch. Yes. Yes, I could see her doing this.
Right?
I can't. She is so mean. Evil.
I don't know how you can be. I just don't get it.
No, especially to a little kid. I couldn't even be that mean to
an adult.
Just I hate. Yeah.
I know, right?
No.
So Corey is just basically being eaten alive by guilt. And he feels absolutely trapped. He can't do anything. He was suicidal, of course.
Yeah.
Right? But he's getting to the point where he's old enough where he's starting to recognize how manipulative Judith is.
Good.
And at this point, he starts to question, did my dad even have cancer? She's told me so many things.
How's he probably doesn't even know what's a lie and what's true by this time.
Exactly. So it's around this time when Corey gets this assignment from his English teacher.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He realized he had to get this off his chest.
Absolutely.
He realized he did do this, and he was absolutely sure that he was going to be going to jail, but he had to get it off his chest.
Good.
And he wanted someone to know that Judith was involved. And he was prepared to face the consequences.
Good.
So he wrote it all out. Yep.
Just finally done.
He wrote it all out. Which is why when the officer showed up, he thought he was going to jail. He just thought he was going to be arrested.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's why he said that. He was sure that finally she showed him the tape or something.
Exactly. So on March 23rd, 2012, the shooting happened in 2003.
Yeah.
So it's like 9 years later.
Damn. Okay.
Detective Vandemark brought a recorder and interviewed Corey in the principal's office of the high school. And Corey admitted on tape that he intentionally shot Robert because Judith told him to. And he unloaded some, but not all, the details of the abuse that he endured.
Yeah, he needed to. Jesus, just so they got to the depth of his pain.
Right. What made him follow what she said? Because that was a pretty crazy thing for her to ask him to do.
Absolutely. But years and years of torture. By hearing all this,
yeah, you can see why, he was like, I'm going to do whatever.
Hell yeah.
Right.
This evil monster says, because I have to.
Prosecutor Morris Murray immediately went to work trying to find evidence to corroborate Corey's story. Because it's basically just one person's account, right? And he's an 18-year-old, right? So they did find out that only 12 hours after Robert's death, Judith was at Robert's job asking about his life insurance.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish they'd kind of asked around a little earlier.
A little bit more, right? They got the information from the neighbors and stuff that people thought she was weird and were scared of her.
Yeah.
So then another thing they had them do was they're like, Corey, we want you to call Judith and see if you can get her to talk about the murder.
Oh, God.
Right?
He's got to be terrified.
Right. I was going to play this because there were two different shows and they played it, but he's kind of upset. And so without the captions, you can't really understand what he's saying. So I'm just going to read it.
Okay.
So the phone rings and he says, Mom, can we talk? Because he calls her mom. She adopted him and everything, right? Mom, can we talk? And she says, yeah. And she's very casual through this whole thing.
Okay.
You could hear it in his voice. He's upset. He's trying not to cry. And he goes, I just can't stop thinking about Dad and everything. Did we do the right thing? Mm-hmm. And she goes, what? And he goes, did I end his life too early? I mean, what if that tumor could have been taken out? And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, this bitch.
And he says, you said he had a tumor. And she says, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, and you can hear it. His voice is getting higher. And he goes, should I go to a therapist? And she goes, you can do whatever you want to do. And he goes, can I tell him the truth? And she goes, I don't know what the truth is.
Oh, my God.
And he says, I think I should go to a therapist. And she said, go wherever you want and do whatever you want to do. And he says, all right. And she says, goodbye. And she hangs up.
Oh, my God.
No interest in if he's okay. I mean, let's just say this was an accident.
Right.
He should have seen a therapist.
Yeah.
Let's say it was the story. This is still like, she has no interest in his well-being.
No, she doesn't give a shit
whatsoever.
Plus,
right?
I mean, it's obvious she is. I'm not going to say anything because I could get charged with something.
Absolutely.
She must
have
she
a clue. Played absolutely dumb.
Damn.
They had a clinical psychologist named Anna Salter evaluate Corey, and she found him to be a credible victim of years of mental and physical abuse.
Yeah.
On March 8th, 2013, so this is 10 years later, almost 10 years later, because he died in November.
Okay.
Judith Hawkey was arrested on charges of abuse and murder.
Yes.
It took them a full year to gather enough evidence and corroborate Corey's story that they felt, okay, we can do something. And I saw a video of her, like, she was brought in and they're telling her, you know, did you ever hurt or Corey or anything? And she was surprised and denied everything. She's like, if any of that happened, it wasn't by me.
Oh, my God. And this whole time, Corey's still living with her?
No, he wasn't.
Thank God.
He never, as far as I know, he never moved back in.
Okay, because I was like, she will kill him. She will kill him.
I know. And he still was afraid of that. On October 28th, 2013, which is almost exactly a decade after the murder of Robert Brenninger, Judith went on trial.
Finally. Oh.
The recordings that Judith had made of Corey as a child to show Robert, those were all shown to the jury.
Oh, good.
Because they needed them to see him. You know, now he's like an 18, 19-year-old.
Yeah, but they needed to see the innocence.
They needed to see this little boy.
Baby. Oh,
who
my
was
God.
in a lot of pain. And I'm sorry, you could tell. None of that was normal. Corey testified in court, and he could not look at Judith the whole time.
Oh, I'm sure. She's horrifying. She was his monster from day one, boogeyman.
When he read his victim impact statement in court, Judith turned around and started yelling at him and tried to grab at him.
Oh, here she came. She came out. The demon has arrived.
Oh, yeah. She maintained her innocence, saying that Corey shot his father on purpose because he was such a troublemaker that they had decided to send him to military school.
Fuck her.
And then he made up all the claims of abuse to cover it up.
Oh, please. Yeah, because that's what a 10-year-old is so smart to know how to do.
Right.
This psycho.
Judith was convicted of aggravated murder, insurance fraud, and 4 counts of felony child endangerment.
Dang, yes.
Right?
Yes.
The judge in court called her evil beyond description.
I'd say there's so many more words for her. I have.
Right. She received a life sentence without the chance of parole.
Yeah. Yes. Thank God. Plus, she's a child abuser in jail.
Yeah. She was escorted out of the courtroom, and Judith announced to the court that she was innocent and would be back.
Yikes. Don't come back. No.
Right? And Corey was like, oh, thank God. Like, right? Like, I can finally exhale, right? But sure enough, in March of 2016, she appealed and was granted a retrial.
Okay. Retrial. Okay.
Because they said it was like
some technical.
Exactly.
Something.
They said she was convicted on certain circumstantial evidence and Corey's word and things that shouldn't have been.
Oh, God.
Allowed.
Shit.
But Corey was like, that's fine. I'm going back to court. Yeah. I'm making sure this woman goes back to jail. And then finds out that rather than a new trial, Judith entered an Alford plea. That's the one where they don't admit guilt, but they admit that there's enough evidence that they're probably going to get convicted. So she still won't say she's guilty.
Yeah, so that maybe she can not have full life sentence.
Right. And the Alford plea was pleading to lesser charges of involuntary manslaughter and endangering children.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. So what would she get for that?
This time, she was given 10 years.
Oh, what?
Including the 5 she had already served.
No.
I can't even, man. I am very sad to report that she was released from jail in 2023 after serving her sentence. March of 2023, she got out. I don't have a lot of information, but I believe one report I saw said that she moved back to Defiance County, Ohio.
Oh, my God. At least these people know what she did. Don't let her buy your gas. Don't let her
No, Judith
shop
Hawkey.
at your
Her name
place.
is Judith Hawkey. She's got blonde hair and evil eyes, in my opinion.
And she is the demon devil.
Yes. Corey is now in his 30s, and I found him on Twitter, and he lives in California.
Yay.
On the other side
Way
of the
far
bleeping
away.
country.
Get away from that.
He's
nightmare.
got his own family and son that he is fiercely protective of.
I bet.
But from the shows I watched, he still lives in fear of her retaliation.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, she put him through. I mean, your brain is forming at the time this devil is putting thoughts in your head.
Some of that he's never going to be able to fully recover from. He's just not.
God, no. I don't know how he's lived this long. This amazing person.
He's a warrior. He absolutely is. But I have pictures of her, mostly with Corey as a little kid that I'm going to post. You can tell. So there's certain abusive behaviors. She is like on him, like her face is right up next to him. She's like got him, he doesn't look real thrilled. Like he's smiling, but it's not a real smile.
Yeah, that stiff kind of.
Yeah. And she's like, see how close we are? Like, it's...
fuck this woman.
Oh, my God. She is fucking sick.
Oh, I can't believe she got out.
I can't either. I cannot either. But it's such a small area and small town. I really hope everybody knows. It just makes her life a living hell.
Spread the news, Ohio.
I'm sorry, guys. This was not a fun episode, was it? It was not funny. But once I watched it, I had to share it. It was, oh, my gosh.
Can we... Maybe Judith should move to Afghanistan. Afghanistan would be great for her, I think, for the Taliban. Yeah. She would be treated as she deserves.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Oh, God.
Yeah, right.
So tell us episodes we should not watch.
Yeah. I mean, whew. So I watched the show Mother May I Murder, season 1, episode 3, Groomed to Kill.
Yikes. Okay, I've seen that show before. Mm-hmm.
I watched Evil Lives Here, season 7, episode 1. It was all Judith.
Damn, yeah.
I got some info on her off of Murderpedia and thedailymail.co.uk. And then I just had to stop looking shit up because I was like, I can't.
Yeah,
it's
too much. This is a lot.
I don't want to know any more details. That was enough details. Thank you. I'm good. Well, thank you, everybody, for letting me bring you down. Sorry.
But at least we know this bitch is out there so people can
and it was just such a insane story. Just such a crazy story.
Yeah. But with somewhat of a happy ending in a way because he got away. He got away.
Still standing, right?
Escaped, and she got a little bit of justice handed to her, but hopefully...
Yeah, if anybody else wants to hand her some more justice, just saying.
Vigilante justice.
Hand it out.
Not that we condone that, but
oh no, sorry,
but,
my bad.
Yep, but we don't think she deserves a nice life after this.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
right.
anyways,
Well,
thank you
next
everybody
week.
for listening.
Bye.
Hey, Oddies, thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM. If you're a longtime listener, hey, we cannot thank you enough for your continued support. And if you're a new listener, thanks for giving us a try. If you like us, please drop us a like, subscribe, or rate us so we can share our stories with more people around the world. And if you'd like more information, like links to our podcast and socials, along with our Patreon fan page, those links are all on Linktree under ODFM Podcast. That's linktr.ee/ODFM Podcast. Side note, you guys, we're obsessed with fan art, and we love making things with it, like stickers for our fans. So if you'd like us to use your designs, send it to us at odfmpodcast@gmail.com. And if we use your design, we'll be sure to send you a sticker.
Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM, hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Production and editing by Kelly DeVries. Theme music by Eric Swanson. ODFM is a satirical true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only. The stories you hear are serious and true. The comments and opinions are not. We apologize if any of our content is harmful or disrespectful.